is just talk about their kid and their experience, because your experience and what you remember from it is what you're going to be the most passionate about when you're on that soccer field talking about, what's going on this week. And so always be thinking, what can I do to brag about my kid that's also bragging about, our school.
Hey, welcome to another episode of the SMA Audio Experience Podcast. We're joined by a special guest this week. We had a phenomenal podcast last week with an amazing leader out in Los Angeles County. We're really excited to give you another treat. We have none other than Mr. Matthew Cordes. Matthew, thank you so much for taking time out and joining us. Can you introduce yourself?
Absolutely. My name is Matthew Cordes. I'm the Associate Director of Schools for the Diocese of San Diego. You mentioned last week, Leslie. I've known her for about 3 or 4 years now. We worked together at Santa Clara for a little bit. She is a phenomenal principal. So if any of your listeners haven't listened to that one yet, make sure you go back to it.
That's amazing. And yes, that we've been looking at the stats and, we've been communicating with her and actually just sent her a quick message on Twitter last night and said, hey, by the way, in 1 week span, your jump from listenings from 36 to 78 listens, 9 downloads in just 1 week have been phenomenal for her. But we asked her, that one key question is, how's been the feedback? And she said, what's been amazing is she's been reached out to from all walks of life in so many different ways just from that one podcast. So we're excited because we know we're adding a lot of value and helping them continue their message and their great work. So we know that you're doing great things on your team for the parents and, the other administrators and other schools who haven't met you or they don't know too much about you. Can you, share a little bit more about what you do with the Office of Schools?
Absolutely. So in our office, we're a 4-person team moving forward. We've got John Galvan. He is the Director of Schools. In most dioceses, that would be a superintendent role. And so he's the big honcho. He's the guy who's going out there and really putting that good face forward. And then we've got Dr. Julie Cantillon, and she is unbelievably brilliant. And her focus is on curriculum and instruction and raising the capacity of all of our teachers, all 1,000 of our teachers in our system, to have better practices, methodologies, and systems in place to help serve our students. I came on 3 years ago from the Diocese of San Jose. What I did up there translated a little bit down here what those pieces were. But when I came down, my focus is on leadership development and on running our preschools. And that, I always say from the smallest to the tallest, our little preschoolers to our big leaders. Keys with my role is that leadership development piece about how do we get the next generation of Catholic school leaders in our system.
That's amazing. And I always wondered about that when we go to the website or what have you. I always knew that you guys, your specialties are your focuses and your roles. So knowing that on the leadership aspect and also the preschool, that's very, it's very, very good and very promising to, to hear that. And, for this school year or, some of the initiatives that you guys had for your role with the leadership, like what's been 1 or 2 core things that you've been really focusing on?
So for us, there's a few things that we really focus on in our building. One is we want innovative thinkers. We want people who are going to make different programs at our schools. We find that one of the things that has been lacking in our Catholic education nation, and this is across the nation, is that our Catholic schools produce an amazing product. And that's typically the same amazing product that's a couple miles away. And so for some of our struggling schools, it's not about the quality of education in the building. It goes down to the factor of a parent walks onto 2 amazing Catholic schools, and now they have to choose between a building or a field, or they really like the kindergarten teacher, something to that effect, where it should be about the feel of the academic program. And if we can get 2 different academic programs, we can push forward. But to do that, we really need high-quality, engaged leaders who are looking to make a very differentiated product from one another while still remaining in our Catholic core and mission. The second big piece of this whole thing is we have a amazing amount of talent in our system, and we want to make sure that we are utilizing it to the maximum of its potential. And so we'll talk about that hopefully in a little bit with the next couple questions, but it is one of the keys to our plan moving forward in the diocese is really trying to utilize just the capacity we have in our own system a lot better.
That totally makes sense. I mean, one of the topics that I brought up with Leslie last week towards the latter end was there's a segment there where we talked about school almost thinking it as a business, and it came up from that topic that we discussed with her taking surveys of her students, at the end of the year, what do they like, what do they want more of, etc., and then taking action, executing on the adjustments, and then remeasuring, hey, are they really, learning something, from it where they can take something of value and apply it in the real world? How have things been going so far for this school year at recent events or projects that you've rolled out through, professional development days, etc.? How has that, measurement progress been going for you for some of the things for this school year?
So I'll pull you a step back and kind of give you a bigger history of what was kind of our team's impact. And I say our team because, like I said, myself, Julie, John, and then also Steve Stutz, who's the administrator of Fiat Catholic Schools, is another partner. He actually has an office next to mine in the building. And we always say that it's like a 0.75. And the fact that he has got a specific role to support the schools down in the South Bay, St. Michael's being one of them. But he also contributes to the whole a lot as well. And so for us, what we're starting to look forward to is we noticed that to be able to get the goals that we set, we have to do a few things. One is we have to learn to work together. So we actually brought in, and we still collaborate with, one of the associate superintendents from the Archdiocese of LA. And what she came down is we took a whole year last year on how do we collaborate together as leaders? How do we share best practices? How do we open up and have that trusting, safe environment? And we've made really big progress on that. And then this year, she's actually come and worked with our principal leadership group to help spread that even farther down, and so we can take ownership over that process. And so on that end, we're starting to get that leadership collaboration piece a lot more sustained. From then, we also looked at how do we raise the general capacity of our teachers. And so Julie Cantillon's been working with a group called the Curriculum Leadership Team. And they've created opportunities for our teachers, leadership roles that aren't just traditional scope and step type thing. And so they're on committees making exemplar units. They're doing trainings. They're leading our professional learning days. These are the types of opportunities we hope that are going to spur the next set of leaders. And so for us, when we're starting to look at how do we get those next generation leaders, we need to give them opportunities because there's only so many principal and vice principal roles. And so for us, we're looking at how do we create opportunities so that they can have that leadership experience and move them forward. And that's something that we have to give all the credit in the world to both Dr. Julie Cantillon and to that curriculum leadership team. They've created something called the teacher liaisons, which have been really passionate, well-qualified teachers who are really being instructional leaders without having to take on, like I said, a principalship role. And so that's something that they identified and moved forward with. But this leads us all then into, then how do we get the call? And we always, in our faith, we always talk about the call. And so for us, created something called the leadership discernment. And so once a year, we do a leadership discernment session that our director of schools, John Galvan, leads, where we put out a nomination process that any principal, administrator can nominate someone to come, and they take about 2 hours to discern kind of what those next steps are. Scripture, through conversation, through prayer, and then they get left off into a kind of an Ignatian discernment path. And so they are really focusing on what God is calling me to be, but we've never had that call before in our system, or at least while I've been here. We never had that call before. So now we're starting to actually have people say, you're the next, tapping those pieces up. And so we're really trying to push that forward. And that's another one of the big successes that we've had. Last year was the first year for the discernment program, and 75% of our principals came to that discernment session and then and filled an opening in our system. Not 75% of the people that attended, but 75% of the positions were filled from that group of people.
Amazing. And when I'm looking at it from volunteer or parent point of view, because what we've been trying to enhance is we have a theme that I brought to the teachers. Is this year's theme is teachers are rock stars. For so long, parents and the local community on campus have known our teachers to be great. They love them. They treat and love our kids. They educate them, everything. And one of the things that I was bringing to their attention is all the great stuff that they're doing, like fostering curiosity, innovation, leadership, manners, faith, and everything. more of that needs to be shown in the areas where the attention is, whether that's on the website, digital, social media, community events, etc., or like how we're doing the podcast. And one of the things that I was really trying to feed into that, to showcase those teachers, is building them profiles, almost like a digital portfolio per se, right? Is one of the things that we're working on is on our website is to have any social media, video, audio, clips, testimonials from parents, is you build that in so that anytime someone wants to come to, our school's website and look up a teacher, maybe they're looking into bringing their child into junior high or elementary school, they can click on that teacher and, they can see like a video or see some of the work that they're doing versus just a name, a face, and a resume type of bio. So do you think that can help as far as bringing visibility or, adding a little bit more accountability to, the teachers to potentially, innovate if they want to go ahead and progress that way?
What I love about that is you're showcasing what makes your school special. And again, I think sometimes we don't do that as well as Catholics. Just naturally, as the Catholic Church, we're not supposed to be bragging and showing off and those types of things, but we really do need to show people what is the quality of this school and what makes this school different from the next school and what makes this school special. And that's not going to be perfect for every person. But for those people who do desire Catholic education and do want to fit in that community, that's exactly what you need to be doing. You need to be showing that. And the best way to do it, and I know this is my wife and I, like when we want to look something up, we're hopping on our cell phones and we're saying, okay, let's see what's out there. When we want to research a product, we don't go to Best Buy anymore. We hop on Amazon. We're in a digital age where parents are consuming the quality of things through the online presence. And so I completely applaud your that, because I think the more you get that, the better it is. One of the best things I've seen, I won't shout out the school's name. It was a school up in San Jose. It was a private school. It wasn't one of our Catholics. They had the best day in the life of a kindergartner video on their website I've ever seen. It made me go, oh my gosh, I want to have my kid be that kindergartner. And so that's what I think we should be doing with our social media, is saying, and with our websites, is saying, show them a day in the life, show them what it's going to be like, those experiences, because the day they tour may not be the most exciting day in the world, but there are a bunch of other experiences that are going to be life-changing for the student that they may never see unless we put it on that website.
100% agree. And that one of the things that we're trying to do, and I think, there's other Catholic schools out in our Diocese of San Diego that have, amazing leaders, amazing people with great talents and resources, really to foster or hopefully inspire them to reach out to their parents or to their communities. And if there are those leaders who, want to find a little bit more of, I guess, that satisfaction, or want to take their game to another level by giving to something bigger than themselves, is reaching out. Because I've heard from a lot of the principals and other leaders at different campuses that I've reached out to over the last year and a half. And obviously the number one thing is resources and time. And when to me, when I've heard that, usually it always comes with, okay, maybe we're not stretching or reaching out to the right amount of people, or we need to reach out to more people. And then every single time we've been able to either get them a resource or get them in contact with just like another parent or another person where they say, hey, I can give 30 minutes or an hour, I can help you out or point you in the right way, so that you can continue to do the work. But hey, this is how you can continue that and not let that be an obstacle. So, that's what we're hoping for, to, just encourage a lot of people to, volunteer. We understand, there's a lot of households where everybody works in there. There's, many commitments and other obligations there. But I think pushing yourself, or if you're not there, just wanting to get better, to be that role model, is a great inspiration that we can all strive for.
And I think specifically to that point, we've got some of the world's finest principals in our system, and we have great leaders at every one of our schools, but they're only one person, and they don't have huge staffs to do marketing, to do parent engagement. They don't have a lot of staffs to do those things. And so it's so important that every parent understand the value of that Catholic education and be able to verbalize it to every one of their friends. Because the number one way that we get referrals to our schools is through parent-to-parent communication. And so as a parent, your job is to be able to talk about your school in a way that really gives off why it's different and why it's special.
100%. And, that's, I guess, if those who are listening haven't seen the amount of dedication that our whole campus and a lot of the other campuses that I've been able to work with and I get to talk with across the whole Catholic school system, especially here in San Diego, it's really amazing. It's truly, truly amazing to see, so many parents, dedicated, where in some cases, some of them, they are products of the Catholic school system themselves, right? And they have maybe one child or more than one child. They see the value in that, and they're continuing that with their children by sending them, through, Catholic schools and really believing in that.
Absolutely. And we, when we're looking at our educational product, we are putting out unbelievably well-educated kids. All of our students from the second grade to the eighth grade are above, our average student is above the national average in both math and reading. Our eighth graders are coming out, just topping out the eighth grade Renaissance Star Test in mathematics. We are making unbelievably well-prepared academic students for the next level and beyond. In addition to that, the quality of the student, because of that Catholic faith formation, we're putting out the leaders, the world needs most. And so, in my opinion, when I'm sitting here, I'm talking to you, I'm going, why isn't every seat filled in San Diego? This is a gift of a Catholic education that we could be giving to so many more people. We've got so many unfilled seats in our system just across the board that it almost bothers me a little bit that people aren't hearing that message and aren't getting those kids in the seats, because we have an unbelievably good product that has just phenomenal success percentages and stories, and pushing from, whether it's Phil Mickelson that went many years back to National Merit Scholars to, essay award contest winners. We've got it all. And so to not able to say it well enough to get that understanding that would put people in the seats is something that, that's always the question that falls into my head.
Totally agree. I mean, and I guess that's one of those levels of or those aspects of leadership where it's the continuous progress to just connect and communicate to different people, because everyone takes things differently, everyone takes in information differently, and the big thing is everyone's at a different point in their life at different times during their lifetime. So having that constant communication, that perspective, with that rock steady faith is something that I see in yourself and your team that are doing phenomenal things, and that leads me into my follow-up question here, as we close things out. What is something that, for listeners, like from a parent point of view, and those parents who are like leaders, like in their PTG group, or they're a new parent, what can we do to help, you guys on your mission of what you guys are working on for this year and for the years to come?
The biggest thing is you can talk about your child. I'm the proud father of two kids, but my 5-year-old right now is at one of our Catholic schools here in the diocese, and I brag about that kid more than anyone else on earth. I'm the obnoxious father. He's brilliant. He's kind. We sit down at the table, and he's the one looking at everyone going, "Okay, I'm going to lead prayer," or he's the one saying, "Dad, you forgot blank, blank, and blank, going on today," or he's the one that's looking at situations, coming home from school, coming home from soccer practice going, "Oh, I'm worried. I'm a little worried about Alec because he fell down and hurt his knee." The emotional pieces, the strive to be just a child of God and to grow our kingdom down here on heaven, plus the academic achievements and the athletic achievements and the social achievements and the innovation that he's been able to show. I love talking about my kid, and that's what I would ask every parent to do, is just talk about their kid and their experience, because your experience and what you remember from it is what you're going to be the most passionate about when you're on that soccer field talking about, what's going on this week. And so always be thinking, what can I do to brag about my kid that's also bragging about, our school?
I love the simplicity of that. It's so powerful, so amazing, but so simple that everyone can do that. Everyone can repeat that. And there's no excuses, right?
Yeah. Quick shout out to Noah. Hopefully he's still paying attention in class though. Good for that.
That's amazing. And for those who want to, follow up and reach out to you, where can they find you on social media? What's the best way to reach out to you?
So Twitter, it's M and then Cordes, which is Cordes, and then it's DSD, Diocese of San Diego. But so it's M Cordes DSD on Twitter. But you can reach me. My contact information is on the diocesan website. I would actually ask everyone right now to go check out our new Catholic website for parents to find our schools, and that is called sdcatholic.org. That is we just launched it. FleetCatholicSchools.org. We just launched it. We just launched it a few days ago, and what it's doing is it's giving our new families a way of finding their closest Catholic schools, but also learning a bit more about them. We've got current updates, news. We've got facts and figures. But what really is cool is we get a map feature where you can click on any school in our area, and I'm just clicking on one right now, and we can go through and find out so many different things about any school, from a general description to what sports they play, what after-school activities, what languages they teach at the school, what their facilities are like. So you can get a really good description of any of our Catholic schools through this new site. And again, that's sdcatholicschools.org. And so if there's if someone wants to reach me, again, best way is through Twitter or email. But I would say that if you're a parent and someone says, how can I find a Catholic school? Definitely send them over to that sdcatholicschools.org.
Amazing. And I was checking out that site. I know I've been keeping up with the launch date of it, and it's truly a great enhancement taking over for. And I think it, modern, it reaches out and it gives a lot of value to, like you said earlier in the interview, parents who are, pulling out that phone, right. And, or jumping online on a computer and just wanting to see, hey, what other opportunities can I set myself up, for my child and my family to be a part of a community. And that resource is amazing.
Yeah, it's completely mobile friendly as well. So like you said, if you want to, you can pull it out on the soccer field and say, oh yeah, here, just check out the school real quick. And it'll give them an overview, but it will be, that mobile friendly.
Perfect. That's where it's at nowadays. And I want to take a moment to, really commend you on being the leader, with empathy, with drive, with passion. That's Christ focused, and not wavering, and really fighting and having passion for, what you're doing, and being that example, for you and your team. On behalf of the Academy, we really thank you for your time on there. And we really think the message that you're trying to help move along with, having our Catholic schools be a great product and a great thing to serve everybody. We thank you for that.
And Mark, thank you. If we had every parent put in as much time and energy, I think, again, we'd have every seat filled. And I know that not everyone's able to, but I think that you're a great example of you can do something. And if you can do some little thing, I think we can move this thing a lot farther along. So thank you so much, and God bless you for helping build the kingdom of God every day through your podcast.
All right, everyone. Well, that concludes another episode of the SMA Audio Experience podcast. We have the information that Mr. Cordes talked about, on the interview today. We're going to have those linked into the show notes. So if you're listening to this on your iPhone, on your tablet, or on a web page, you simply can go ahead and go to the description of this episode, and any of the links, his handle or his email, or the new sdcatholic.org website will all be linked in there. So all you have to do is just tap on it, check out the amazing information, and definitely look forward to you at an open house, or picking up that telephone, or sending that email to a local Catholic school in your area and saying, hey, how do I get started? Take care for now. Thanks again for listening to another episode of the SMA Audio Experience podcast, brought to you by St. Michael San Diego's Technology and Social Media team. For more information, go ahead and visit our website at www.smasandiego.org. On Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, we use the common handle or username of SMA San Diego. So you can definitely reach out to us there, leave a tweet, a message, a post, a comment. We'll be happy to engage with you, answer all your questions, and really join in part of sharing the St. Michael San Diego story on social media and on the internet, and also via the podcast. So thanks again for listening. Take care, and we'll hear you next week.